What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Real Laughs on 104.1. I'm your host, Mr. James Eon. We got a great show for you guys tonight. I am in studio, as always, with Miguel Colon Jr.
What's up, everybody?
We got Mike Herlihy from the Obligatory Podcast and the writer of The Lowdown with James. What's up, Mike?
Hey, good to see you.
And we also got the godfather of Orlando comedy and Street Fighter aficionado, Mr. Ken Miller in the house.
What up, man? I wanted some cool background, so I cut the game on.
Ken,
I see that. Now,
do you have a preference between Ryu and Ken? Like they're different? Because there's so many people that are like, I only use Ryu. Like, no, I use Ken.
They're the same fighter to me.
They're
the same fighter, bro.
Yeah.
They're the same fighter.
Yeah,
One has got a weird ass name.
Yeah. Then they threw in Akuma. You remember that? And they were just like, let's have another one who's a demon.
Yeah. Actually, they were like, let's throw one in that resembles those dark people.
Yeah, because they're going to be complaining if they don't get a character.
They knew. They're like, this is going to be at an arcade. There's going to be a lot of brothers playing this.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. Now, Mike, I wanted to ask you, what is special about today, brother? Let us know.
What is special about today? Well, let's see. What is today? May 12th? We got May 12th going on here. Oh man, it's gosh, that's gonna come out, I guess, better or worse time. International Nurses Day today.
Okay. Well, shout out to all the nurses out there putting their lives on the line.
Nurses, man.
Yeah.
Especially during this time, bro.
Yeah, even the guy nurses. I'm not your father, okay? Good for you. Okay.
Dude, no lie. I was gonna do nursing in the military. I wanted to do something in medical. Yeah. And they had nursing and combat medic. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And the reason I was gonna do nursing because it's in Fort Sam Houston in Texas, and it's like 70% women. So I'm like, and at the time I'm like 17, and I wanted to go into the medical field because I wanted to be a doctor because of Cliff Huxtable. At the time, I really wanted to be no lie. I'm not Bill Cosby, Dr. Cliff Huxtable.
I'm sure. And demons, those sweaters.
Yo, Dr. Huxtable wrote some questionable prescriptions for like Xanax.
Yeah. Okay. But dude, for some reason, at the time they just weren't taking guys. They were like, man, no. But then
they knew the deal because they were like, nah, man.
Nah, we know what you're looking for private.
Yeah.
And so I end up going to do computers. But for real, shout out to I know a lot of friends, like a friend of mine, Melissa. She's a nurse. Shout out to all the nurses out there. Chris Sheets, wife nurse. So I know y'all are working during this COVID-19. So we do appreciate everything y'all do, man. That's real talk.
Absolutely, because you're actually putting your life on the line every day.
Yeah, every day. Every day. Like we're complaining about walking into Home Depot with a mask. They're actually in the middle of COVID. You know what I'm saying? They're like frontline troops, but we're on the boat shooting missiles.
Yeah, exactly right.
I'm sitting here flying the drone talking about the fourth. Can somebody put some more AC in here?
And
whatever happened to Candy Stripers? You remember Candy Stripers?
Yeah.
Them in the hospital. They were just like, hey, we're gonna need some fine young tail in here also. She's a Candy Striper. Yeah.
I think what ended them was the Me Too movement. I think that's what did it.
Hey, we started looking at jobs and we were like, so they're fluffer nurses? You know?
What ended the Candy Stripers was the Fat Boys Disorderlies movie. They was like, ooh, this is what Candy Stripers look like. Yeah, we're done.
Aside from being International Nurses Day, also like to wish some very happy birthdays. You might recognize some of these guys. Mr. Stephen Baldwin, one of the less famous Baldwins, exactly. Emilio Estevez, otherwise known as Charlie Sheen's brother,
which I just found out today.
Yep, Tony Hawk celebrating his 55th birthday today. 55th birthday today, and Rami Malek, who actually played Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie that just came out,
Bohemian Rhapsody, which was very good, by the way.
You know what the best thing is? Tony Hawk probably has a list of 7,000 names of everybody who told him stop riding a skateboard and get a job.
Yeah, you know? This isn't going to go anywhere.
Reads it every morning, or drives by their houses, or buys their houses off of it.
Apologies, Tony Hawk is 51, and it's funny because when you think of all professional sports out there like football, baseball, you can probably name like easily off the top of your head 20 greats or something without even taking a breath. But when you start talking about skateboarding, there's only like I don't know, man. I'm hard pressed to come up with more than like 3 or 4 names.
I know. Tony Hawk is the only one I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's the guy from Ridiculousness or Ridiculous?
Rob Deerdick?
Okay, he started as a pro skateboarder, right?
Like Tony Hawk remained a pro skateboarder. You know, like there's guys who I could think of from like CKY and Jackass who skateboarded. But Tony Hawk, like that, you know.
Didn't he just like 3 years ago break another record for like the most like spins or something else? Like he came out with some trick where he did more rotations than anyone else. And
I think Tony by a professional skateboarder.
I think Tony Hawk was the first one to hit the 720, right? That was his claim to fame. I think he's the first one to do that.
Video game because it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Mm-hmm.
There was other video games. What was the one I used to like? Oh man. I can't think. There was one from Nintendo. It was really
the one where you could just go down?
Yeah.
And then there was that big biker guy in between the scenes of you like, how you like my do?
Skater die.
Yeah,
I remember that, bro.
Very realistic game.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys a question real quick because we're in May right now, about to be, we're going to be in summertime pretty quick here. It's going to come.
Summertime.
And I want to ask you guys, I had to cancel my plans for summer. Like I can't go to my timeshare right now because I don't think that's the same thing to do.
Mr. Wealthy can't go to his timeshare.
Oh, my bad. Y'all don't all own timeshare? I mean, no.
We didn't get ripped off like that.
About to say, you own a timeshare. First of all, I love the word I own a timeshare. No, James, you don't own the timeshare. A bunch of people own it. It's basically saying she's my girlfriend, but all these other guys get the banger. You know?
That is not what my timeshare is like.
James sat through the whole presentation too.
Yeah. I got my Disney tickets and I left. And James was like, here's my credit card. I'd really like to rent a hotel.
They gave me free coffee, so now I'm obligated.
Yeah. So like I was saying,
where's your timeshare at? If you don't mind me asking.
Westgate Lakes.
Okay. Did you get it through Alex Yu?
Nah, bro. When I did my presentation, I saw him there. Like we knew each other, and I knew Nixie at the time as well. But bro, I can't tell you on the air what I got it for, but I got a hell of a deal on the timeshare, bro. You would have bought it too,
man. Sure, you did,
man.
James.
And I will say this:
James is like Clark Griswold buying the car in the beginning.
Before you go too far, let me go back and say you gotta remember who James is married to.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you gotta remember who really did the negotiation. They ended up paying them money to take this place off their hands.
Yep. Y'all got me all the way messed up. Yeah.
See, my reason for never digging timeshares, I'm like, so for me, but I know it's different for you because you got the kids stuff. But I'm like, so every year I'm gonna go to the same place.
No.
And they're like, well, no, you could trade them around, but
no, bro, you can go all kinds of different destinations with what I got, man. But it's not just one place. You don't pay extra to go to another place. You just can go where you want to.
But see, you don't do Airbnbs and stuff, right?
So they didn't have Airbnb when I bought this 15 years ago.
Yeah. See, because like now to me, like a timeshare, which is cool, but I'm like, I look at like Airbnb options and stuff, and I'm like, I could get a castle. You know, like that's always been my thing. Yeah.
See, now here's the thing, though. You live right down the road in St. Cloud or Kissimmee, right?
I'm Kissimmee.
Okay, so and then you go over to like the Lake Buena Vista area, or is it closer to like International Drive is where Westgate's at?
It's actually by Sand Lake. It's closer.
Oh, okay.
It's on Turkey Lake, yeah.
So here's the thing.
You make it at the Florida Mall?
I love Disney. I love Disney. I love their hotels. I love their resorts. And sometimes, even though I live 15 minutes away, I want to actually go and pay to stay there for like a weekend, just enjoy it. But I've already told my family, if we go to stay there for the weekend, we go. That means if you forgot your swimsuit at the house, we got to pretend like we live across the country. We're not going home. We're going to across the street to Walgreens to buy you a $6 swimsuit because I don't need to spend, $1,200 for a weekend at a Disney resort to break the illusion by pulling up to my house because you don't have your toothbrush.
I'm with you on that, bro. But see, what my question originally was, I had to cancel my plans to go somewhere like that because I don't think I'm ready to be around that many people. I don't think it's safe. What do you guys normally do for summer that you're probably rethinking what, if you're going to actually do it or not?
I usually go up with the kids. I drive them up to upstate New York.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Ooh, you're not doing that, are you?
her parents, my kid's mom's parents, live in like the Adirondack Park in upstate New York. So social distancing is a way of life up there. I mean, you're always away from other people. It's a very small community, except during the summer when people come to their cabins on the lake and everything like that. So they've already told people to kind of, they're feeling it out and stuff. So I don't know, because truthfully, I would drive them up there. I would fly back. They would spend like a month up there. Then I'd fly up, pick them up, and drive back down. But we haven't made any definitive plans yet, because we're still trying to feel out what's going on with travel. And I don't want to get on a plane yet. I mean, the driving up there wouldn't be bad. It's like a 2-day drive for us, because we break it up because they're not comics and they got to sleep. And
I hear you, bro.
But I would really like to get them up there to be able to see their grandparents and their family and stuff like that. In that area, which is all spread out and everything else, it's not like New York City or Miami or stuff where there's thousands and thousands of people right up on each other. So I think it's pretty safe to go there. So we just got to figure out the whole semantics of it.
And Mike, you attach gigs too, right? Haven't you like done Hartford Funny Bone on your way back down?
Yeah, because we usually swing through Connecticut to visit my family on the way back down or something. But I think I'll probably call that off, because my cousin up in Connecticut is a nurse, and she said since they've loosened up the whole lockdown up there, it used to be she would have, when things were starting to wind down, or not wind down, but things got under control, they would have like 7 people a day on ventilators in her unit. And I guess when you go on a ventilator, it's pretty much a bad sign. A lot of people go on ventilators, they don't come off, is the way it is. She said since they've loosened restrictions, she walked in last week and they had in her unit 27 people on ventilators. So if it's that bad, if it's still that bad and people are starting to let go of some of the social distancing, I don't think I need to bring them around that type of stuff,
Yeah, and the thing that gets me is nothing is actually shut down where you can't leave your state. So like in Miami, let's say in Palm Beach, where it has very high cases of COVID, or New York, you can still travel to places like Florida. And Florida's a destination spot still. So I don't think I want to be out amongst people during summertime. I don't want to take that risk. That's just me. Miguel, you going anywhere for, summer?
Me and Busey had booked a tour to Europe. We were supposed to be all around Europe.
Oh, that's right.
That's gone. Because we can't even just travel out there,
No, you can't.
Which is cool with me though, man. Because I love Europe, but booking that was a nightmare. So I'm like, oh, COVID.
What do y'all do on these tours?
He has like a burlesque show, and then he does like live games, almost like Double Dare. Oh, it's almost like spring break everywhere we go. We got burlesque. We'll bring wrestlers with us. We'll put on live wrestling shows in the events. We have all types of mechanical stuff, like mechanical bulls. So we take over a big nightclub and make it like spring break for the night, with games and all that stuff. And we traveled throughout like the country just doing those and going to music festivals and doing that at music festivals. And so last year we did 45 days on the road with it. And we were going to do 30 days in Europe this time, but that's out, man.
Yeah.
Damn. So Ken, where are the Millers going this summer?
This summer we ain't going no damn well.
So the Millers are home right now.
Yeah, actually this year was going to be our chill year. We were going to stack money this year. We wasn't doing too much vacationing this year. We got a lot of plans to do to this house, so that's our obligation right now.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere, people. We'll be right back with more Real Laughs right here. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. You are still listening to Real Laughs. I'm your host, James Yon. I'm joined in the studio with Miguel Colon Jr., Mike Herlihy, and Mr. Ken Miller. Everybody still feeling good?
Yeah, man.
Now, we were just talking about our plans for the summer and how they're all changing due to COVID-19. We're all trying to stay safe, and a lot of things aren't open. So you got to be real creative nowadays when it comes to summer. But there's some other stuff being affected out there, man. It's basically entertainment we used to get. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Black Mirror. It's all about technology and society collapsing. And the writer of that show doesn't want to do season 6 because he feels it hits too close to home. And it would be like insensitive to do it right now, especially all the victims that are dealing with that right now. And there's some other unfortunate releases that were postponed or canceled due to COVID-19.
Now does that mean, I'm sorry, did his season 6, was it going to be similar to what's going on now? Is that why he didn't want to do it?
Well, if you watch Black Mirror, it's basically like the series Twilight Zone in a way that
I heard.
He goes more into like the social things, like making fun of how we've become reliant on technology, or making fun of how like our whole lives are like One of the episodes was basically how your social status, like imagine your Facebook app where the likes went up and down, and depending upon your likes was what you were allowed to do or get or go or anything like that. So he kind of feels like all his episodes are always about society collapsing. And he doesn't want to put out a season 6 right now when he feels we're living in the middle of one of his episodes. You know, basically the irony of the fact that there's people are being told to stay home and stay safe. And now people are fighting to go out and, you know, no, my freedoms allow me to go out and get sick. And it's like, dude, we're trying to protect you right now. And people just feeling like
I think he got writer's block, and he's pulling he's like, I don't want to do it because of everything that's going on. Because I'm gonna tell you, war movies come out during war.
Yeah, but well, here's the thing. To kind of go with what James was saying, this isn't the first time that's what's going on in real life is actually affecting what we're getting in entertainment. Like, you guys remember Boondock Saints, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Love that movie. Yeah,
it was actually postponed from release because right about the time it was supposed to come out, the Columbine shootings happened. So here you got two brothers going on a rampage.
Wasn't it Boston? Grow up, America.
But you can see why studios felt like it was an insensitive time to kind of release something like that.
Do you remember when the Spider-Man movie first came out, the Sony one with Tobey Maguire? They had to redo one of the promos because one of the promos was a spider web between the Twin Towers. And 9/11 just had happened, so they had to redo that whole thing.
Do you remember when the third Spider-Man movie came out with Venom and Sandman?
Yeah,
that movie was garbage.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's all I got.
Sometimes, though, it seems like to go with the 9/11 thing, there's been a ton of movies that were delayed because they had to take out the Twin Towers. But then when they do all these other films that show flashbacks to like the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that, movies have to have the Twin Towers added into the New York scene.
Yes, they do.
One of the movies that was just straight up canceled that I don't think anyone really cares because I'm pretty sure it would just fall into the list of all the movies we haven't seen of his. Jackie Chan had a movie in development called Nosebleed where he played a window washer on the World Trade Center who witnessed a terroristic act, kind of like Die Hard, you know, but from the outside of the window, and then he does all this stuff. But the other thing that got canceled was actually True Lies. They wanted to.
Why's James sideways?
James just fell off a building himself. What's going on, man?
For those of you not watching the live feed or the video, James just went from being in the corner of the screen regular to being sideways. To
now he just gone. I hope he okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I seen one episode of Black Mirror.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was
good, man.
That was the one with the gamers. When the two dudes played games and then they had sex in the game.
Yeah.
Remember he played the girl character and the dude was the boy fighting character. And I was like, this is this show is?
Oh.
I was like,
wasn't that the dude, what was the actor's name?
That's Papa Doc.
Yeah.
Papa Doc.
Wait, I'm going to tell you this much. I'm still waiting for the Papa Doc album to drop.
Yeah.
But more than that, it's the Lotto album I want. Because Lotto went hard. And I'm still waiting. I'm like, all right, B-Rabbit never dropped anything. This was all worthless. But when the Chintinky albums come out, when Papa Doc's drops, I'm going to be with it. The whole free world. But it's Lotto.
The one dude's on Redman's album. Remember the guy that called him Leave It to Beaver? Is it Govmatic? I think that's his name.
That's Govmatic. That's Lotto.
Yeah, he's actually on Redman's one of Redman's album.
I like that too. But now you gotta be in fight back mode. So when you go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Lotto is fire. Like
no, I was saying, I heard him on the Redman album a couple weeks ago. I was like, yo, that's the 8 Mile dude. Because I know that voice from anywhere.
Because he got put in label limbo, man. He was too hard and they were afraid. James is no longer with us for the moment. We don't know what happened to him. Michelle called him and was like, you having too much fun.
Are you laughing in there?
Yeah. Why you smiling? Why you smiling?
What you happy about, bro?
Yeah. This is my house.
To get back to the movies that were postponed and canceled, though, here's one that I'm actually upset about. True Lies. They were going to do a True Lies 2. You guys remember True Lies? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it was going to be a political drama just based on this last 3 years.
Yeah, no, it was going to be James Cameron canceled it because it was going to be another movie about Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting terrorism. And he's like, terrorism's just not funny at the moment. And that made me go, okay, when was terrorism ever
funny? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you when terrorism was I'm going to tell you when the old days when terrorists could be any race. Like I watched Die Hard. And it's a terrorist organization that's basically a rainbow of cultures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now, and there was a good time when the IRA was always our go-to terrorist in movies.
Yeah.
But now you say terrorist, and it's got a racial stigma to it too. You know?
Yeah. Like, well, even in Iron Man 3. They had a white guy make a fake terrorist cell so that he could gain power. And who'd he pick? A white guy leading a bunch of Middle Eastern dudes.
Yeah.
You know?
So he was like, I need it to feel real.
Hey, is James back?
James is back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. My thing about those type movies, I always wonder, in Russia, are we the bad guys in the movie? Like Russians are always our bad guys. So when Russians make their movies, are we the bad guys?
They're not allowed to watch movies in Russia.
I always wonder that because I'm like, every time we have a movie where the Russians or somebody, the Middle East, somebody's a bad guy, I'm like, well, when they're making movies, are the Americans the bad guys?
Can Rocky IV in Russia ends with Ivan killing Apollo Creed? And it's 8 minutes long, and then when you watch Red Dawn in Russia, they land, they invade, they're like, movie's over. It was good, right?
So funny.
He killed Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of it. They're like, and then they all realize Russia's better, and Rocky commits suicide.
Yeah.
And
people are crying in the theater. It's so beautiful.
You know what's so crazy? He killed Apollo. This is how Apollo Creed legacy goes. Apollo Creed gets killed, then has an illegitimate son.
Yeah. They were like, listen, a lot of black people are starting to look at Apollo as a champ. We need that over.
You know, I'm a comic book geek. Every May on my birthday, I always have gotten a Marvel movie to watch.
Go out on your own? Yeah.
No, we always go as a family. What are you talking about? So we didn't get to see Black Widow, man, and I really wanted to see it because it looked like it was going to be a good movie. So I just missed that. One thing that I missed out on, bro.
I feel bad
why did they put her movie so late?
That's what I'm saying. They pushed the movie so late. Oh, you know what it was, man. And there was misogyny behind this because when the toys came out for the Captain America Civil War movie, I messed it up if it's Civil War, if it's Avengers. The toy line came out, and there's a scene in the movie where one of the Quinjets comes down, and it opens up, and Black Widow comes rolling out of the motorcycle on it, and she busts heads up. When the toy came out, it came with Captain America out of there. And it was a big misogynist play that they were like, well, we didn't know that girls would want to play or boys would want to play with girls with a girl, and that girls wouldn't buy the toys. So like they pushed this movie back with the idea for a long time. It was like Wonder Woman came out and Captain Marvel, and then they were like, hey man, did you know that everybody likes action heroes, whether they're guys or girls? And I'm like, yeah, do you remember Alien? You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
I think part of it is in 2018, you got to remember Jennifer Lawrence came out with Red Sparrow, which was basically the same storyline as Black Widow. It was basically Russian girl taken, trained. You know, I think maybe that had something to do with the whole. I don't
think so, because we've been exposed to Black Widow since 2009.
Yeah, but you never want to release a film with the same storyline that could slightly overshadow or even be compared to yours. Like where are all the movies like Ants and Bugs Life that came out the exact same time? Armageddon and what was the other?
You think Disney is worried about some Jennifer Lawrence property versus the Disney property that's Marvel?
Not worried so much, but knowing that it's going to suck some of the wind and people don't want to sit through two of the same movie. Definitely.
I just think, though, they had a decade to create the Black Widow movie and they never touched it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because she's been exposed in the Marvel Universe since 2008, I believe. You know, she was part of Iron Man.
Iron Man 2, yeah. Because I've been rewatching all of them during this.
Yeah, and
it's crazy because I'm looking at the I'm looking at the grossing of each movie, and Captain Marvel, $421 million. So you can't say that a woman couldn't, and that's number 6.
Well, Captain Marvel was also a rush job, if you remember, because they were like, we need her in the final Avengers film, so we gotta get this movie done and out there.
Well, and that's so they rushed that movie, and it ended up being top 10.
It still did great. Sure,
it's top 10. Sure. I mean, not to brag, the black movie's number 1, but
the one in barbershops.
No. It's number 1, B. It's made more money than any other movies.
Yeah, but the sad thing is there's a ton of people that think Wakanda is actually a place in Africa as well.
Yeah, that's true too.
Is that really a sad thing, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. Is it?
You know what?
Have you seen him lately?
The same people who think Wakanda is a real place are the same people that sign on for timeshares. I'm just saying.
Oh, salty.
Sounds like a good idea. I definitely want to.
Salty.
Yo, have you seen the guy that plays Black Panther lately?
Chadwick he looks sick. Is that it?
Yeah. They say he's playing a role, but he looks real bad. Like,
he's a crackhead. That's in the role.
He's supposed to be some African prince.
Again?
Whoa! Whoa!
Yeah, like some king or something. It's like he's been a prince or a king or something.
Coming to America too? Did he get it? I thought that was going to be Kevin Hart.
Coming to a crack house.
Yeah. Okay. But he looks bad, dude. Like they had a picture of him with a walking stick a couple of days ago.
I know. I saw that pic, and he looked like I thought something was seriously wrong with him. But no, they said it's for a role.
Well, they say he's not supposed to be on set for Black Panther 2 until 2022.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah, Black Panther. Yeah. We got 2 more years for Black Panther, bro.
That is crazy.
The highest grossing Marvel film. We gotta wait like 4 or 5 years for the part 2.
Always.
You late. Damn right. We're gonna have to march on that.
Always late.
Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll have more polarity when we get back right here on Real Life. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Real Laughs on 104.1. The voice you're hearing is your host, James Yon. I am joined in the studio with Miguel Colon Jr., Mike Hurley, and Ken Miller. We hope everybody's doing good this evening. Hope you guys are staying safe. Keep washing your hands. Wear a mask when you go outside. It ain't over.
Wash your ass too.
In the 90s, it was all wrap it up. Now it's put a mask on. Raw dog if you want.
But wear a mask while you doing it.
Yeah, I don't care who you're having sex with. Spread whatever you want. If you touch an apple at the goddamn grocery store, you buy that apple.
That's right. Oh, wait. You said we got what? We got herpes? Whoa, I thought you said COVID. I'm cool.
Yeah. Herpes, man. It goes away. It comes back. Herpes is like a bad father. You know, you'll see it on the most inopportune times, but it'll leave.
Oh, that's so funny, dude. Miguel, I'm gonna ask you guys real quick a question. Miguel, how long have you been doing comedy? How many years?
This is 9 years for me now, man.
9 years. Mike, how long you been doing comedy?
As my only gig since 2010.
Okay, all right. It's been 10 years for you. How long has it been for you, Ken? How long you been doing comedy?
13.
Now we're all been doing it pretty much over 10 years. Almost Miguel been doing it for 10 years as well. Can you guys remember that moment, that defining moment in your life when you decided, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my career. Like, you guys remember that one single moment that you said, I'm gonna be a comedian, a professional comedian?
I'm the youngest in this also because I've only been doing professional comedy as my career for since 2016-ish, you know?
Yeah.
Like end of 16, beginning of like 17. So I tell you this much, when I made the leap to make it just my career, it wasn't as much as like a moment as like a plan, like a build-up plan, you know?
Okay.
And it was terrifying. But as a
hell yeah.
My whole life I loved comedy to the point where I used to watch A&E stand up. I used to watch A&E when they used to do live, A&E live from the Improv. That was, I mean, A&E. When you're a kid watching A&E, it's something wrong with you already, man. Because nobody would watch A&E. A&E didn't have Breaking Bad and all those stuff like that. Or A&E was the Arts and Entertainment Channel. It just had murder stories and like late at night some comedy. So I used to love comedy. I would break it apart. I used to watch Rosie O'Donnell's stand-up Spotlight. But I got in the game late because I became a comic when I was like 30. Nobody, not a lot of cats do that. Most of the young guys that we do. Yeah, so
me too.
And Ken, most of the guys we know were comics at a young age.
Yeah.
And it's weird sometimes too when you talk to them about comedy because the experience of being in your 20s doing it, riding around in a van, living together in a house, versus we already had stuff and nice things, and you couldn't take every gig because
you got to work.
You got to work. Yeah,
you go to work.
Right. That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I started at 29, and
that's extremely late.
That's extremely late. And I wouldn't say I had a defining moment. I would say I was maybe 5 years in, and 1 year I made $17,000, and that was part time. And I was still, working for Nextel, Sprint Nextel / T-Mobile, whatever we call it today. And so I one of my bosses came to my show and she loved it. She said, "Oh my God, you're really good at this." And if it wasn't for her being my manager and being able to okay, I got gigs this weekend. Okay, well, let's do this. You work Monday through Thursday, then you can fly out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I still got my 40 hours. You know what I'm saying? So I had my, and I tell Suzette this all the time. If I ever make it in comedy, the first person I'm going to buy a house for is her. Because if it really wasn't for her saying, "Hey, I'm gonna let you do this," because I could have been. I worked with another comedian. Y'all know Kingsley. I worked with Kingsley. Kingsley sucked, and she was like, "Nah, you can't have no days off." and I'm not even BSing. But for me, it was. She was like, "I see something in you." All my coworkers were cool with it. Nobody was jealous. No, we made jokes about it. Called it, "Oh, I can't get in the schedule change." But all of them supported it. And so I'm 13 years in. So I say 5 years in is when I started, really hitting the road and being able to post a schedule.
That's awesome.
For me.
That's awesome. You were lucky though, man, to have so many people support you.
Yeah,
from your job like that.
I tell people all the time, man. I tell Suzette all the time. In every manager, when she left me and I got a new manager, she went to them and said, "Hey, Ken has this comedy thing. And he's doing good at it. Let's make sure we work with him." Every manager I've ever had has all worked with me. Now I got my laptop. I just take it on the road now. So I'm one of the lucky ones where I can still do both jobs and survive, because I couldn't do comedy with, like you said, Miguel, we started late in our lives. So we got houses, we got cars, I got children. I can't make $17,000 a year and take care of anything. So I got lucky. So I would say 5 years in is when I started really, kicking ass and working with comedy.
Nice, man. Now, Mike, for you, when was that defining moment that made you say, "I'm going to do this the rest of my life"?
Oh man, I did my first open mic in 1999 and tried it for a month and a half and sucked and just disappeared again until 2007 when I gave it another shot. And that's when I really got into it, doing open mics in South Florida, again, a couple of little shows here and there. And then I moved up to Orlando in 2008, 2009, and I was working a job. And then right around the end of 2009, we found out we were pregnant with my first kid. And all of a sudden, the job I was working for told me they couldn't give me weekends off to pursue comedy. I was just doing host gigs and stuff like that. So they basically said, "Hey, no, we can't give you weekends off anymore." And they knew I had a kid and they knew I had bills and I was the only one working. So it became a really tough decision. It's well, now I got to give up comedy. And I called my dad up, who before I was born, he played guitar in bars. He was going to be a musician, everything else. But then he had a couple of kids and decided he had to settle down, get a job. And I called him up and I said, "Dad, I got to give up the comedy thing. I got to focus on just doing the real job." He's like, "Do you know how much I hated you all your life?" I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "I gave up being a musician to settle down, get a real job because I had to support you." And he's like, "As much as I know it wasn't your fault, every time I looked at you and your brother, I kept thinking, man, I wish I was still playing guitar." And
I say it all the time. Families ruin you. Get rid of all your kids and we can all blow up.
So he told me, he's like, "What?" He's like, "How old were you when you found out I wasn't a god?" I'm like, "I don't know, 9 or 10 when I started realizing you didn't know what you were doing." He's like, "So you got 9 or 10 years to figure this out." He's like, "As long as food's on the table, their clothes on the back, roof over their head." He's like, "Would you rather them see you working a job you hate and resenting everything, or chasing and doing what you love and showing them that it's okay to go after what you love doing. So that was it. I went in the next day, told the guy if he couldn't give me weekends off, I had to quit my job. And once comedy turned into less of a, oh, this is a nice little bonus a couple of weeks, and more into, I need to be booked every weekend, I was shocked at how quickly I was able to be booked every weekend because I didn't take no. I called up clubs and they're like, oh, our books aren't open right now. I'm like, well, open your book. Tell me the next available date. That's the one I'm taking, you know?
Amen.
And
Amen,
that was
bro.
it.
The reason I laugh because I met Mike at an open mic when he first moved
I like
up
my
there,
first open mic in town.
and I beat them 2 comedians up.
Yep. So
you beat 2 comedians up.
Ken was on stage. It was Austin's Coffee. It was my first open mic in town. I walked in, signed on the list. I was the new guy, so I was going last. Ken goes up on stage, gets in a fight with the guy hosting it. The guy hosting it has to be 4'0" nothing.
No, I was hosting.
Oh, you were hosting.
I was hosting, and they were mad
comic.
Because I got them off stage.
Right, you pulled them off stage.
Go forever, yeah,
because they were over their time. So these 2 guys, both like 4 foot each, start talking crap to Ken. Ken offers to go outside. Ken knows all the comedians, so the comedians go outside. Everybody goes watching the fight, but the audience stayed in the room. So here I am, 33rd on the list. Everybody goes outside. I'm like, I don't know any of those guys. I got no dog in this fight. I go up on stage, do 17 minutes to a great audience. Ken walks back in. He's like, hey, man, thanks for covering. And that was how I met Ken Miller. That was it.
Oh,
it was great.
You beat him up?
Oh, yeah, I beat both of them up. Both of the brothers.
They called the cops and then realized they had drugs in their car and took off before the cops got there.
Yeah.
Dumbasses. Bro, ridiculous.
All right, James, what about you?
Yeah. Comedy literally saved my life. No exaggeration. Without it, I would be in a world of hurt right now. I always had done comedy on the side. I went to college to be in hospitality, and I had a long-time job at Disney. I would do comedy on the side like a hobby. Like I never thought I could do it as a career. I just thought it was just something to do to make some extra cash. Well, when the economy went down in around 2010, everybody was getting laid off. I got laid off from my job, and I continued to do comedy as a career. I got a job working in an entertainment office. So comedy is what sustained my family during that trying time. And now comedy is how I make my living. Like there's nothing else I do besides comedy to actually put food on the table. So yeah, comedy saved my life, Ken. If I didn't do it as a little side hustle, I don't know where I'd be right now.
And really it's crazy because I learned how to host from you.
Yeah, man.
When I got fired at the Why Not Lounge one night by God dang it, I can't remember who it was, but
Lynn. It was Lynn.
Yeah, because I went up and I just started doing comedy. I didn't do comment cards. I didn't do nothing. And he's like, hey, we're not going to need you tomorrow. I'm like, what did I do? They laughed. He's like, yeah, but you didn't host. You just went up and started doing comedy. So Margaret said, you got to go watch James. So I would go to Universal every weekend for 2 months and just watch James. And then when you was on the road on the weekends, I would host at Universal. Yeah, I would host at Universal. And then I took over Why Not Lounge from Miss Hope. And then I hosted Why Not Lounge for 2 years. And that's how I built my headliner set.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it didn't pay. It didn't. All you got was 50% off drinks. Why Not Lounge did not pay, but you didn't care. I mean, dude, when you're a young comic and you can get a Friday and Saturday show with 250, 300 people.
With a good room.
And a good room. You didn't even care about it because, first of all, I didn't even know you got paid to do comedy. I just thought I got to do comedy. You know what I'm saying? But then Market gave me a check for $25. I was like, yo, son.
Hey, Ken, a lot of bookers don't know they need to pay people either.
Comedy prices have froze. And they're the market doesn't reflect it, you know?
Yeah. Bro, see, dude, I tell comics all the time. I say, you over here fighting over $25? I said, trust me, in a year from now, this club's still gonna pay $25. Yeah. You take your time and get better. The prices of comedy ain't changing, cuz.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna toot our own horn right here at Real Laughs. Miguel, you back me up. Being entertainers changes the way that you book comedy. Being an entertainer changes the way you pay comics. Yeah. I will tell you right now, I think we paid the most out of any comedy booker, including clubs, as far as what we would pay MCs, features, not headliners, because I don't have improv money, but we paid the most for MCs and features. Hands down, bro.
And I think everybody here has agreed to this. I have paid people because I found out they've never been paid for comedy and just wanted to be the first one to pay them. Like I've had cats seriously that I've been like, look, oh Hurley, he's cheap ass. He's like, the same thing. I've literally been looked at my budget and been like, yeah, man, I get you to host this just because I want you to get paid to do something so that you could have it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
I've done showcases where I've been given the check and I'm like, all right, everybody can get paid long as I can drink and eat.
Yeah.
As long as I get, I drank a whole bottle of Crown Apple at the Improv, and just so I don't get paid.
I will tell bookers right now, if you are listening, you know what goes a long way with us comics? If you feed us and let us drink.
Sure we eat something.
And if you pay us handsomely.
If you pay us comfortably, feed us, and we got somewhere to stay that we ain't got to worry about getting fleas. You know what I'm saying? Or I got bugs or crabs from sitting on the toilet. If you could just do those three, we're gonna take care of the job. You ain't got to worry about it. We're gonna slay the room. We just want to eat well, sleep well, and be paid well.
That's right, man. That's right. Period. Now, thank you guys as always for being here, guys. It's a great show today. Want to let everybody out there to please go to our YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe to that. Please hit us up on our Facebook page, Real Laughs. Thank you guys again. Don't forget, we'll see you guys on Wednesday and Thursday. Real Laughs right here on 104.1 on behalf of Mike, Ken, and Miguel. Good night.